Give me an F-I-N-N-B-I-T-S. What does that spell? I said, what does that spell? Tightwad? Huh? Oh, smiles, rainbows, cotton candy corn? Look, it's a cheerleading episode. You can't expect me to be that invested. Well, you've at least got to try for our fans. And hey, cheerleaders can still be interesting. Oh yeah? Give me 3 compelling cartoon characters who were cheerleaders for more than one episode. Kim Possible? I rest my case. Wait, come on, give me some time to think. I'm Finn the Pony and it's time for Finn Bits. So, 2, 4, 6, great! An episode where Rainbow gets assigned to coach the new Scholastic Buckball cheerleading squad, but her interest in cheerleading is pretty much 0, meaning the rest of the team has to suffer for it. 2, 4, 6, 8, is this something I'll love or hate? Let's find out. Alright, I've got a confession to make. Me and cheerleading have a very complicated relationship. As an isolated sport, I respect it a lot. I know that it takes a lot of skill, training, strength, time, and athleticism to pull off some of the routines that professional cheerleaders do. And if you were a cheerleader at some point or are one now, definitely keep going if you enjoy it. It's great for team building and personal growth. My main issue with cheerleading stems from one simple fact. Cheerleading and sports games don't really go together. The purpose of cheerleaders, from what I know, is to build up hype for the team. Get the audience's spirits and energy up for the big game. But here's the thing. When I think of the audience energy that goes on during a game of football or soccer, it's like boom, yeah, ah! Just raw, powerful energy, like a truck ramming through a wall or something. Meanwhile, cheerleading delivers a different kind of energy, which is more peppy and sparkly and cheery. A lot more yay and a lot less yeah, if that makes any sense. Therefore, instead of increasing team morale and energy like it's supposed to, it kinda clashes with it and feels really out of place. It would be like starting a monster truck rally with a medley of songs from Wicked. It just doesn't seem to fit the mood. I might be alone on this one, and if cheerleading gets you hyped for a sport, good on you. For me, I think it's more fun to watch on its own, like watching a dance troupe or a group of acrobats or something. Cheerleaders are definitely talented, just kinda out of place when it comes to how they're used. So, with that little tangent out of the way, let's talk about the episode we have today. And while there are glimmers of intrigue to be found throughout the story, the core elements mesh together into something that's honestly really boring and repetitive. To be fair though, let's start with positives first. The idea of Twilight putting Rainbow Dash in the cheer squad coaching position but not telling her why is 100% a Celestia move, where the teacher knows the lesson that needs to be learned and the student is left questioning what it is. It shows that Twilight is getting more comfortable in her role as the soon-to-be ruler of Equestria, following in Celestia's hoofsteps and even trying out some of her tools of the trade. Heck, the fact that she first walks in alongside Celestia at the end is further proof of that. The actual lesson itself is kinda weak, but the execution? Pretty good. I also like the participation of the Student 6 in this episode. Seeing Ocellus and especially Yona bursting into tears when Rainbow admits that she could care less about the cheerleading squad was effective in making me want to see them succeed in the end, something that was sorely missing for most of the episode. And Smolder being the one to cut Rainbow down to size is both really fitting and really refreshing. Usually Yona's the one to deliver the lesson of the day, but it makes sense for Smolder here because of how much she respects and admires Dashi as a teacher. I think it worked really well. Some of the jokes definitely landed, like Celestia using the Royal Canterlot voice to cheer for the team was hilarious, and Snails as a guru of all things ball was a nice little extension on that visual gag from Buckball season. Also, while it was annoying to hear a Valley Girl accent coming out of a cheerleader for the 7 billionth time, I'm glad that the characters themselves didn't fall into the stereotype of being vain, rude brats or anything. They're just genuinely nice girls who seem to enjoy the sport, and you know what? That's really great to see. And unfortunately, I think that's it. Kinda sad when the positive parts of your episode are mostly just bullet points. Everything else present in the story is either not very memorable or was done better in other episodes. The moral of not caring about the activity but still caring about the happiness of the people involved is decently executed, but it's kinda squandered when us as the audience aren't really given much reason to care about them. I mean, obviously we love characters like Ocellus and Yona because we got to know them in past episodes, but if these were 5 completely new characters that we've never seen before, would we really care much about them succeeding based only on what we're shown? There aren't really any scenes of their deep-rooted passion for the sport, or a firm desire to try something new. All we know is that Yona wants to make a pyramid, Ocellus wants to stand out more, and Smolder just thought it would be cool, which is all told to us in one sentence each. That's all we get. I did mention those few scenes at the end, like Yona crying and Smolder speaking her mind, and while it definitely does help, it also seems like too little too late. And when you throw in Rainbow's complete lack of interest on the opposite end, it just makes things worse. If you want to hammer home the moral of caring about your friends in an activity you don't like, you gotta give us a lot more than this. There are also some elements that work a lot better as one-off jokes than major plot points. For instance, seeing Snips as a greedy entrepreneur-to-be worked great as a side gag in Common Ground, since it was used sparingly and when you least expected it. But having him be one of the main side characters where it's clear that he's just rooting for the cheerleaders to make a quick buck is neither funny nor compelling. He doesn't care about the team, he just wants to sell souvenirs. And unlike Flim and Flam, who go about their sleazy schemes with such tact, cockiness, and flamboyant showmanship, Snips is just kinda there, not really doing anything entertaining with his greediness, leading to a running joke that isn't the least bit funny. Still love you, Snips, but I gotta say your second half is definitely the more entertaining one in this case. I guess maybe a few of the visual set pieces can be nice, like the little cheerleading performance at the end was kinda cool, and we get to see half of the Student 6 in cheerleader uniforms, which is a really cute image, but it's not really worth sitting through 22 minutes of Rainbow ignoring the team and coming back and ignoring the team and coming back in order to get there. And besides, the true queen of cheerleader cosplay has already been crowned. Oh yeah, and if you're curious about my thoughts on Rainbow's overall portrayal...
So it wasn't great. Cheerleading's never great. That's why every pony gets up to get a snack during it.
Yeah, long story short, her cruelness ruins 8 seasons worth of character growth, her constant abandonment of the team spits in the face of her element of loyalty, and unlike Honest Apple, her behavior doesn't lead to any big payoff or moral lesson that's worth all the pain. I'd go into more detail, but everybody else has already ripped her to shreds, and to be fair, even if she wasn't written like this, the episode still would have been a bland mess. 1, 2, 3, 4, this episode is quite the bore. Considering how high the bar has been set for Season 9 episodes, with entries like Twilight 7, Frenemies, and Common Ground blowing me away with their content, 246 grade ends up falling flat in just about every aspect. The story's very repetitive and not compelling, the moral is decent but not backed up by the content of the episode at all, the concept is not super interesting neither on paper nor in execution, and they don't really back it up with any special humor or wow moments. It's not a dreadful episode by any means, just a very blah one without any real reason to rewatch. And like I said in my She's All Yak review, I don't expect every episode this season to be an instant classic. My hopes are still very high, especially after seeing the synopses of what's to come, so I'm gonna stay tuned. It's not the worst I've ever seen, so I'm not gonna be too mean. Please listen to the things I said and go watch Common Ground instead. Go Finny! Well, I hope you all enjoyed my quick little playthrough of this episode, and feel free to tell me what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Would you describe this seasonal entry as 246 great or 246 great? What are your thoughts on cheerleading as a whole, and if you've ever done it, share some stories in the comments below. Thanks for playing along with me. I'm Finn the Pony, and I hope to see you all next time on Finbits.
Rock 'em, get that ball and really fight!